think the president's son and others have come out and said publicly that, and even some lawmakers have said that taking things, like a meeting with a Russian lawyer offering dirt on Hillary Clinton is just politics. It's what you do. I'm sorry, I'm battling a terrible cough and it's coming up at the wrong time. Phil, in looking at how this administration is trying to tackle this, why don't we see more of a forceful effort from administration officials to separate meddling or attacking from the Russia investigation? I know the president can't do it because he believes they're one and the same, and he's worried about not having a legitimate election and not seeming as big and grand as he wants to seem. But why aren't we seeing that more forcefully from Sarah Huckabee Sanders or Mike Pence or even from John Bolton, who called it a witch hunt the other day?
We should see it more forcefully and just in their efforts to communicate to the public. But I think there are two reasons. One, this is a political strategy that the White House has to call it all a witch hunt, to discredit the entire investigation. The Mueller investigation, remember, is not simply an investigation into Donald Trump. It's an investigation into Russian interference in the 2016 election. That's a real substantive thing. But the White House wants to call it all a witch hunt, make it confusing to people at home, to turn people against it. And then secondly, I think there's frankly a reluctance among those who are appointed by President Trump and serve at the pleasure of President Trump to come out and forcefully defend the intelligence agency's conclusions about interference in 2016, to do what they did today because they know it irritates the president, because they know it gets under his skin, and they fear the wrath. Clearly something changed today to where they felt comfortable coming out and doing that whole press conference, which we know the president was watching. And by the way, I'd love to know what he was thinking as that was all going on.
Phil, I imagine you're going to have a story about what he was thinking.
We will try.
Come this morning. I almost feel bad not letting you go and get on your phone. Matt Miller, are you trying to jump in?
Yeah, I wanted to say one quick thing. So we talk a lot about why the president can't separate Russian interference with collusion, and that everyone has this theory that it's because, and it's what his aides tell people, that it's because he believes it undermines his election. But, that might not be the reason. It might be because he knows what happened in the campaign. He knows what he and his advisors did, and he knows that there is no difference between interference and collusion. We like to think that the president sometimes, we have this sort of 4-year-old mentality around him.
We want to give the president of the United States the benefit of the doubt because he's the president of the United States, and you want to hope that he didn't collude or conspire with a foreign government.
You want to
As
hope
an American, you
point,
want to hope that that's not true.
You want to hope that at some point, that explanation just doesn't really add up. It doesn't make any sense that someone couldn't understand this very basic logical thing, that there's a difference between interference and collusion, unless he knows there's not a difference.
I do want to just add really quickly, other than the indictments of Paul Manafort and Rick Gates, et cetera, early on, one of the most significant indictments we saw early on, one of the first ones, was the indictment of 13 Russians and 3 entities for a troll farm, an operation, the Internet Research Agency that was located in Russia, that spread out that false information, that actual fake news, those divisive memes online to Donald Trump's benefit during the 2016 election. We've seen that from Mueller. We've also now seen the indictment of the folks that he believes hacked into the DNC, the ones who actually did the hacking that got distributed to WikiLeaks. It seems like he's building a house, and you have to wonder what the next beam is going to look like. Is that analogy right, Phil?
I think that's good enough. That's good.
Ken Delanian, Ellen Nakashima, Matt Miller, thank you very much. Peter Alexander, you already left, but thank you too. Phil Rucker is sticking around. Up next, Donald Trump has insisted repeatedly that no one wants to talk